The theme for 3.27 is Keeper of the Flame, and it's getting hot out there in GG headquarters, so there's no better build to play than a cold build. Now, for the last 3 days, I have been kind of practicing and fine-tuning the cold Elementalist build, which I'm going to play for 3.27. Now, it should not come as a surprise, but Golems and Elementalist is very strong in 3.26, and my predictions and hope is that they don't nerf this as Senecies, but even if they do, the cold setup still going to be very relevant because Golem is that strong, at least for the early game progressions, because it gives so much raw stats. Anyway, so my plan is to play this setup into the first week, get 2 red maps, farm a tons of currencies, and also using the same Elementalist shell to even push code up further, or maybe transition into any of these self-cast build, which can be fun. So there's actually 2 setups of Cold you can go for. Either you are going to play as Vortex, Cold Snap, Creeping Frost, or you can play the Wintertide brand and Cold Snap setups. Personally, I chose to go for the latter just because Wintertide brand was buffed recently, and also I think Wintertide brand and Cold Snap is a pretty comfy mapping setups anyway, so we'll have to see, but if nothing changed, this is going to be the premium Cold setups for now. And you can also swap to it from level 12. If you are planning to play this for League Start, before we talk about early game progressions, I just want to share my personal experience going through the campaign with the setups. It is very comfy, and at no point in the campaign where I feel like I was lacking damage or tankiness or anything. It's just smooth progressions all the way, and we do tons of damage. As you can see in the background here, I actually finished Merc Lab at level 64, being 4 level under the zone, which is not an issue at all. The combinations of fall golems that we'll be running is the Flame Golem, which give AoE and damage, Chaos Golem, which give dot multiplier damage, and also give us chaos resistance, which is kind of like the premium stats in the early game. And then you have access to lightning golem, which means you have faster shield charge, going through the campaign faster, and faster cast speed, which scale with Wintertide brand damage. And finally we have stone golem, which give us tankiness, scale whatever stats you want to scale, armor, evasions, ES. And then you have the regens coming from the stone golem as well, so overall it's just a very well-rounded setup, at least for the early game progressions. We are going to play with Wintertide brand in maps, and Wintertide brand itself clear really well. You can cold snap on cooldown for frenzy charges, and for bossings we are going to drop Frostbomb for cold exposures and also do curses to make the boss resistant even lower. And the gameplay style is actually very safe because you can play as a semi-range. Wintertide brand can be cast at range, and the longer it stays on the targets, the more damage it does. And you can cast Cold Snap at range as well, and both of these skills is going to chill, so it's gonna make the gameplay a lot safer. Since the patch note is not really out yet, I'm going to share with you a rough plan for the campaign runs. The campaign run is going to strictly follow this particular POB where I have set up for the campaign, with all the tree setups right here, very details with all the skill gem setups as well, and all the guidance is going to be here. Also, you might have noticed that in the POB I also have a transition to map and budget red map setups. This is for me personally to kind of test out the number to see if it makes sense. So I'm not going to talk about this until the patch note is truly out, but yeah, for the configurations, if you're wondering why I put Wintertide brand damage still 200% damage, this is because we are going to get 3 brands on the same targets, which means we are doing triple damage. So yeah, if you spec into Runebiter, it's one of the ways to calculate Wintertide brand damage. And also there's like stage on this, so if you are using manual stage at 20, it's not really realistic. So I'm going off the average damage number. And so yeah, this is only for reference only, and probably I'll switch it up and talk about it in the next video after the patch note is out. But yeah, this is for reference, so if you want to practice, this video is mainly for sharing the setups for campaigns and also some early games numbers for you to look at. With that being said, I'm still going to go through the campaign with you guys. just so we have an understanding and a refreshers of how to go through the campaign with this build. If you want to see the whole VODs and see how this build perform in the campaigns, feel free to check out the VODs on twitch.tv lazyxd. Yes, I do stream on Twitch now, and if you follow me, you can catch me go live sometimes. We are going to level with Rolling Magma. Now, it is everybody's favorite skills, but I know we're gonna have to swap off Rolling Magma at level 12, but before then, grab Rolling Magma at the gate by talking to Tale, and then make sure you also check the shops and use the rejects to find 3 links or anything that is useful like movement speed boots. Now, after breaking some eggs quests and then killing Heroic, we are going back to town, get elemental proliferations from Nessas for our 3 link with Rolling Magma, or you can drop Arcane Search for now. And then we are going to get Flame Wall from Talake, Frost Blink from Talake, and then we're going to buy Shield Charge and Holy Flame Totem from Nessa. If you don't have enough currency, it is okay to go back and talk to Nessa after you finish Dweller of the Deep, in which you also get access to the efficacy support, which is a link that you should be leveling right now, and then we'll sucker them into Wintertide Brand and Cripping Frost a bit later. It is also a good time to remind you guys that Exile leveling exists, and if you forget how to run the campaign in PoE 1, feel free to check this out. Make sure you go into the build and click on Lake Start, and if your build requires to go to the library, also check the library as well, in which we don't really need to do library, but I prefer to do it anyway. This is so we can get faster attack for our shield charge. But anyway, just make sure you use Exile leveling if you don't memorize the PoE 1 campaign yet. Alright, so our next gems is going to be after killing Brutus, in which you can choose between Clarity or Vitality. If you want to go with Clarity, you can pick it up as a quest reward, and if you want to get Vitality, just buy it from Nessa. I prefer Clarity for the mana QOL, so you don't have to think about mana, but if you want to have more sustain, feel free to buy Vitality from Nessa. At level 12, or ideally when you reach Mervale Cavern, you would be at level 12. This is where you swap over to the Codot setups, and you're going to go back and get Cripping Frost from Nessa. At this point, if you have 3 blue link, you are pretty much set to go. We are going to get efficacies from Nessa, and the 3 link is going to be Cripping Frost with efficacy, Arcane Search, and Wintertide Brand. You also going to get it from Nessa, and the 3 link is going to be the same with efficacy and Arcane Search for now. If you have enough currency, you can also buy a Frost Bomb, which you can use on the boss for cold exposure. And that is going to be our Act 1 setups. Now, going into Act 2, we are going to fight Fidelitas, and after Fidelitas, we can get Cold Snap from Cruz, and then you can buy Skitterbots from Nina, and kind of use it for now to get Shock and Chill. Now, for the deals with the bandits, I actually chose to help Alira, so I can get the plus 15 to all elemental resistant. This is quite useful a little bit later on because we have a Cold Mastery that reduces our fire resistance by 30%. And after the Weaver, you also get access to Control Destruction, which is one of the best link for damage. So we are going to swap out Arcane Search and put Control Destruction into Cold Snap. And at this point, you can drop Creeping Frost and only use Wintertide Brand with Cold Snap, and this is like the same setups we're gonna use all the way until the end game. Our rotation is quite simple. We are going to use Frostbomb for cold exposures and spam Cold Snap on cooldown and Wintertide Brand as a filler skills. We are going to try and keep 3 brand on the targets at all times. This is the weapon that I was using, and anything that adds spell damage, cold damage over time multiplier, damage over time, or level to cold skill gem will be good, so try to look for that. So at this point, we are going to get Malevolence from Maramoa after you kill Piety for the first time, and then we are also going to get Frostbite from Clarissa for 1 ult. And then we also get Malevolence as a quest reward from Maramoa, and at this point you can drop Skitterbot for now because I don't think you have enough mana to reserve both, and we will add Skitterbot back much later on. Alright, so I think I mentioned it that it is optional for us to run the library, but I prefer to do it anyway because faster attack for shield charge and momentum is also really good. This will make you just go through the campaign a lot faster because shield charge will be that much faster. Now, in Act 4 is where you finally kind of break out, because this is where you get your golems and the first ascendancy point. And just by reaching Act 4 and finish breaking the seal, you'll get access to your first golem. I'm going to use Chaos Golem for now for the damage, and we are going to clear first lap at this point as well to get our 3 golems. It's gonna be Flame, Lightning Golems, and Chaos Golem. And I opted not to go for Golem Commanders in the skill points. This is because we need Orb of Chance to buy the Golems gems, and if you are so self-bound, sometimes you can get kind of RNGs and you don't actually have it. So yeah, I just opted to go for that at roughly level 40, which is where you get our 4 golems, and you can add the stone golem by then. The base is 1 golems, and then we get 2 from ascendancies, and we get 1 from golem commanders. And once you have all your 4 golems up and running, you can just kind of cruise through the campaign because everything will be so much easier. Now, after getting to Malachis and actually kill Malachis, we are going to need to try and get a 4 link for Cold Snap and add Bone Chill into our build, which is gonna boost the damage overall a lot more. Technically, you can get it after you get to Belly of the Beast level 1, but yeah, anyway, I have a 4 link at this point and I was doing plenty of damage. And yeah, that is going to be the setups that we will run for the rest of the campaign, kinda. Later on, when you have access to mana reservation efficiency skills, you can add back summon Skitterbot, and after the campaign, you can swap POD of elements with summon Skitterbot. But that is going to be pretty much the setups for the rest of the campaign. Now, our setup is actually so strong that I was able to use a level 12 weapon until all the way to Act 9. But roughly in Act 9, you will have access to Spiritual 8 if you follow my pathing. And you can kind of replace the weapons with a very cheap one, anything that you can kind of craft with the Essence of Fear to add minion deals increased damage, because that is a generic form of damage. And you can kind of craft spell damage on top as well to kind of upgrade your weapons. So at this point, if you are able to do that, then you will see your damage kind of skyrocket as well, because you get like a bunch of extra minion damage percentage. But if you don't know what you are doing and you don't have currency to craft, don't worry about it. So after the dual boss of Act 8, you will have access to the Blood Aqueduct. And usually I run this a few times to just farm Chaos Recipe, so you can kind of control click on any of the zones to just run it over and over again. And yeah, Blood Aqueduct is a great area to farm for Chaos Recipe because it has enough eye level of the items for you to turn into the shop to sell for Chaos Recipe. I didn't do it in this run because there's no point to do it in SSF, but yeah, this particular zone you can kind of pick up all the rare items on the grounds, and you ideally want to do them un-ID, so you get 2 Chaos Recipe instead of 1. And this is also a good place for you to catch up in level as well, because it is a very linear layout map, and you can farm ESP here, you can farm Chaos Recipe here, it's great. And if you get lucky, you might even get a Tabula Rasa for your early 6th link. At this point, if you have already spec'd into Spiritual 8, basically the weapons stats is gonna be the same thing of what I recommended before, but now you have the median damage percentage as the extra stat, so you can add on for more generic damage. And once again, you can buy Essence of Fear to craft this yourself. So yeah, feel free to just kind of farm this a few times and get your weapon upgrades and keep progressing through the campaign. So at this point, all you need to do is just buy your weapon upgrades, follow the POB, and you should have a pretty good time cruising through the campaign, and also pretty strong for white into yellow map. And then after that, you can use the transition to map POB and the red map POBs to kind of progress through the endgames. I'm going to wait for the patch note to do like a full updates on that, and maybe I can do another updates videos on the patch. Anyway, so that's gonna be it. The reveal video is gonna be roughly 1 day by the time I release this video, and I'll be watching that live on my stream, hopefully. And that is pretty much it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.